Hi everyone, this is Miss Page. So today for our classroom and balance activity, we are doing day 2. And this activity is called Choose Your Thoughts for the Day. So the materials you will need right now are a piece of paper or a journal and a writing utensil. So go ahead and get those materials in front of you. I'll give you a moment to get settled in. Okay, so first I'd like to talk a little bit about mindfulness. So mindfulness is accepting the present, being present, and noticing all of the things that are happening right now. So mindfulness goes right along with our thoughts. And if we're being mindful, we can choose the thoughts that we have in a day. The same way that we would choose our outfit that we put on, the same way we would choose a meal to eat, the same way we would choose what music that we listen to. And so when we choose our thoughts, it's kind of like music playing in our minds. When we're choosing the thoughts and they're happening in our head, they become habits. So when we think positive, positive things happen. So right now, our activity is choosing our thoughts. So I'm going to give you 5 scenarios or situations that could happen in a day. And you have to come up with some thoughts. So these thoughts have to be 2 things. They have to be intentional, so you have to have some meaning behind them. And the second thing is they have to be positive, because we are trying to think positive in our minds. So when these things come up in real life, your challenge will be to respond this way in your mind. Think these thoughts when these come up in real life. So I want you to try it when it happens, but first we need to come up with these thoughts. So I'm going to give you 5 scenarios, and you can come up with a thought that is intentional and positive. So the first thought is eating your next meal. So write down eating your next meal, and then a thought that you want to have next time you're about to eat your next meal. So maybe your thought could be, I'm so grateful that I have this meal to nourish me and keep me healthy. Or I am so glad I get to eat my favorite food. So go ahead and write down a thought that goes along with eating your next meal that is positive and intentional. Okay, our next scenario is looking in the mirror. So the next time you look in the mirror, what is going to be the thought that comes into your head? So go ahead and write down looking in the mirror. And when you're ready, write down a positive and intentional thought. So maybe you write down, I love the color of my eyes, because you want that to be the positive thought that pops into your mind. Or maybe you write, I feel so good in my own skin. Whatever comes up for you that is positive and intentional, write that down. Awesome. Okay, the third scenario is when you leave school for the day. When you leave school for the day. So maybe you write, I did my best today. So every day when you leave school, you can think, I did my best today. Or maybe you write something else down, but a positive and intentional thought about leaving school for the day. Okay, The fourth scenario is walking into your house. So write down walking into your house. So for me, I would write down, I am so grateful to see my dog. You can talk about seeing a person, maybe it's sitting on your couch, maybe it's hanging out with your sibling or your parent or grandparent. So what is a positive and intentional thought you want to have when walking into your house? Okay, now the fifth and final scenario I'm going to offer you today is to write down before you fall asleep. Before you fall asleep, what is the intentional and positive thought you are going to think before you fall asleep? Maybe you say, I allow myself to relax and go to sleep. Or maybe it's, no matter what happened today, I am grateful. It can be anything that is positive and intentional. So now that you've come up with 5 thoughts for these 5 scenarios, I challenge you to try this when it happens and practice, because mindfulness takes time and practice, but it can make you think a lot more positive. Thank you so much for doing this little activity with me today. I invite you to bring your hands to heart center. Take a big breath in through your nose and out, and bow and say peace. Peace.